Welcome back to another week and another photo challenge. This one is truly going to be a challenge, so let's jump in and figure out how we can capture the bright side while we learn how to create harmony and unity in our photography. Your photo is due on Thursday, so look for instructions on how to turn that in on Google Classroom. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony, and that's what this is about with your photography. How can we combine elements so that everything feels like it's unified and belongs together? It's difficult to do. So this week, be kind to yourself as you take your picture and feel free to turn in something that you are using as an example of learning instead of perfection. Let's look on the bright side. We've spent so long looking at all the negative aspects of what this last few months has meant for us. And if you're following the news, you're probably anxious and sad and angry. So let's spend a week looking at the brighter side, an optimistic side, and figure out what that means for us and share it with each other. Harmony and unity simply is when everything in a photograph feels like it's in agreement. Especially when you're trying to combine things together, does everything in that image feel like it belongs together to create a unified message? There's different ways you can do it. Feel free to play with any of these. You can do it through color, pattern and repetition, shape, and texture, along with many other ways, but these are the four we're going to focus on. Color is intentionally using and blending colors together in a variety of different ways. Maddie does it really well in this photograph, and we'll figure out what makes this work. Take a look at these examples. They're amazing use of color harmony. Everything belongs together. Everything in this photograph, all these colors match and belong together. Everything here matches and belongs together. You've got consistent tones in both photographs that are done with an artful eye. Sam did it with this photograph. The white and blue of the basketball and the white and blue of the net work together to create harmony and unity. It's two different things. That's the important thing here. Two different things. We've got a net and a ball. They do belong together. And then Sam took it one step further to make it color matching. And that creates harmony. Elena took this beautiful photograph. Take a look at how artfully she intentionally planned and matched tones and colors throughout. But not only tones, she matched texture. You've got the rough blacktop and you've got the rough wall working together. And then all these color tones work together to create balance and unity so you have harmony in the photograph. Andrew did it here. This is beautiful. The tones all match and belong together, but even better is the reflection that Andrew had. I'm proud of this photo, but I would like to improve the balance of the photo. My body is a little off center of the trampoline and my left hand is away from my body. This is where the learning happens. This is why the reflection piece is so important. So not only can I see that Andrew's got an artful eye as a creative photographer, but he also has the mind of a photographer and of an artist, reflecting on what he would improve next time and showing that he's learning each time he takes a picture. Brilliant example of both photography and reflection. So how do we create chromatic harmony? You can do it many different ways. Monochromatic, analogous, complementary, triad. These are just four ways to do it. Let's see what those are. Monochromatic means every orange here belongs together. It's all in the same place on the color wheel, just different tints of the same main color. This is all greens. They're not going for contrast. It's all different levels of the same green. Same thing here. You create harmony by making it uniform. Analogous is taking it a little bit deeper. So you're just staying on one side of the wheel with red, orange, yellow all working together on one side. It's uniform. There's not a lot of jarringness to it. It's kind of pleasant. You can do it that way. Complementary is about creating contrast. So you're using colors from the opposite side or approximately the opposite side of the wheel. It doesn't have to be perfectly opposite. So orange could go with blue or green or at least darker blue. So they do it well with this bug over here, but they also do it well using just the traditional red and green. Here's another pink and green. So you don't have to go perfectly balanced on the opposite side. Bella did this really well, creating this consistent tone, but then the red target pops more when she put it in front of a green door, but also the framing of it and the balance in this is a really good use of harmony because they all work together, and her lines they're super straight throughout the whole thing. You can also do triads, which is using different points on the color wheel in the shape of a triangle. So orange, purple, and green, orange, purple, and green, those all work together. Miss Clifton did it right here with orange, purple, and yellow. Again, it does not have to be perfect. It just has to be harmonious. Besides color, you can create patterns through repetition that create rhythm. It's almost musical. Harmony is a very musical term. Let's figure out how we can do it in images. So we have these sweeping pattern and shape of the canoes. This is in black and white, so you're focused on just the rhythm and the pattern and the tone of the photograph. Repetition and pattern here and tone. Katie did a brilliant job on this photograph. You've got the repetition of the marks on her body showing what it's like to count the days of isolation. You've got the dark tone of the photograph that works to convey a unique message. Just a brilliant photograph by Katie. Also, Miss Clifton shows it here with the monochrome. You've got different colors all working together throughout the photograph. All the same tones, but then you've got the meaning of the photograph coming in the pattern and the unique pattern created. Similar use of patterns in a much different tone of a photograph, but you've got the geometric shapes, rectangles, squares, and diamonds working together to create rhythm and repetition through pattern. Miss Clifton did it again here. Blue and yellow working with red and green. They're all repetition with the item and the wood, but it creates that sense of harmony. You've got red and green, but you've also got repetition of it happening. You look here, you look around, it's all unified. Here's repetition that emphasizes the title, but at the same time, it is using repeated rectangles and squares, the books themselves and then the squares on the books, and then repeating the colors identically from book to book creates harmony. You can also do this with shapes by using one big massive shape that's really heavy in the photograph, or you could use multiple versions of a shape, like a line that is unified one way all the way across the photograph. You don't have it intersected by anything else. The shadow and the line work together. You've got consistent round shapes in this one of the soap and water working together to create consistent harmony with shape. Marissa did a beautiful job with this one, having repeated looks at the monitors, and then she even said she made it black and white because she wanted to have a consistent color tone where the monitors were taking too much attention. So repeated rectangles and squares and a consistent tone create harmony. And then you can send a message of harmony through texture. When you look at a photograph, you can see if something is smooth, rough, wavy, soft, hard, heavy, or light. See if you can bring that into it. So take a look at the rough texture and the old style of the brick with the smooth texture and the modern style of the glass in a balanced photograph with contrast. Truly a harmonious image. And then also this one, you can almost feel this object when you look at the photograph, and it also does the double duty of creating a pattern. So here's some tips. It's not easy to do this, so do your best and be forgiving of yourself. Reflect on the photo and the work that you're doing to make it even more meaningful each week. If you're going to take a picture and you're going to include a human subject in it, go for it. I know it might be harder to make it perfectly unified or perfectly harmonious, but in a journalism class, in a publications class, you're going to want to get more human with your photographs. It's worth those sacrifices. Set it up, but don't be too hard on yourself. And then think like an artist, think about your background, emphasize unity and harmony, and know that you can crop your images. Each week I've given a lot of you cropping suggestions to emphasize certain aspects of your image. Before you click turn in, really think about if that's the image you want to share, and if you want to focus on it more, feel free to crop it and make it a little bigger. So that's what you want to do. We're going to look at the bright side together. So have some fun with this. Keep your attitude positive, be forgiving of yourself, and let's celebrate what's going right.